All right. Hi, guys, and welcome to day 4, the experience of you on our amazing camera confidence challenge. All right, I'm excited. Guys. You know what I haven't been doing is checking in to find out where you're watching from. So I'm Connie. I'm watching from Paris. So hi, Josephine. So you got Connie from Paris. I'm typing in the comments there. I'm trying something different today. I'm trying to participate with you in the Facebook chat. So I'm like, Connie from Paris. Let's see where you guys are joining us from. Hey, Sebastian. Sebastian, where are you joining us from? We've got Christina, Karina. Hey guys, thanks everyone for joining. Where are you joining us from? I'd love to know. And if you're wanting to start thinking about what we're doing today, in the comments, I'd love for you to answer my favorite question, which is, who is the real you? And how are you expressing the real, authentic you on camera? By the way, I want to say you are amazing. You want to know why you're amazing? Yes, because like Anna said, Anna, by the way, great Facebook Live. You all have a light within you. Christina, you were also talking about the universe that exists in all of us in your Facebook Live. Amazing. Like, well done. Super awesome. But the reason why you guys are amazing is that of the 3 strategies you chose, most of you chose to just be you on camera. So well done. You guys were showing up as you. Karina, I love how you are just having fun on camera. It's absolutely awesome. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Christina, for saying that I'm amazing too. Anna Tirana, awesome. London, Sweden. Wow, this is awesome. All right, guys, so welcome to today's Facebook challenge. We're traveling today, okay? We're traveling to our kitchen again, which is the capital of the house. I saw this joke and I thought, this is absolutely awesome. I don't know why we've had this whole theme about the kitchen, but anyway, we're gonna keep going with it. I hope you guys are. I said to me, Connie, I'd love to join, but I have to make dinner for my kids, and you know, I'm a little bit busy. You know, do I have to? Can I? Is it going to be? Am I going to be? Is it going to be like a video of me? I'm like, no, it's okay. Do it on your phone. Just send me a message every now and again so that I know you're watching. So absolutely awesome. Wherever you're watching from is perfect. Wherever you're watching from is perfect. All right, guys. By the way, can you tell me if you have been enjoying my workbook? Here's the trick to knowing me. I create as I go. So what you need to do is you need to download the workbook every single day because I update it every single day. Don't you love that about me? Can I have some love? Can I have some hearts? Do you love that I'm always creating as I go and nothing is perfect? So if you've downloaded, and I'll put the link in a moment for you guys so that you have in the chat, I'll do it in a moment. If you have a look in the workbook, you'll see that there are 3 questions. And the first question I'd really like you to answer for me is, what is your conscious awareness, your metacognition, teaching you about yourself from yesterday's lives? I've been getting some amazing feedback from you. Thank you so much for sending me some personal messages. I love reading from you. I love reading how your Facebook Lives have been going. Some of you have been saying before you were scared to do it and now you're having fun. Some of you have been saying the simple act of doing a Facebook Live is not only teaching you things about yourself, but it's making you feel more confident in all areas of your life. So guys, we've got 2 more days left. We've got today and we've got Friday. And I want you to play full out. Are you with me? Can I have a yes in the comments? Are you willing to play full out for the next 2 days? By full out, I mean, if you haven't put a Facebook Live in yet, yes, can you? Yes, put a yes in the comments if you're going to be playing full out. Because the simple act of seeing yourself on camera, I have a surprise for you, another surprise for you on Friday. And you're going to see why this is so important. It's so important because the camera is just your daily spiritual practice. You with me? Yeah? Can I have some love, some thumbs up if you're with me? You're doing this because you know that you're doing it because you want to grow. And you can only inspire to the level that you have grown. So you want to grow and you want to contribute. So what have you been learning during this challenge? What have you been learning? Awesome. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. And then the second thing that's really important is how you're going to be feeding this forward. And I said to you guys that I've got some great news about the implementation, the implementation group. Those of you who've joined, you're still welcome to join us because we have some great news. I've been working very hard behind the scenes to try and see how I can add more and more and more value to you. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take a break, but week beginning the 23rd, we're launching a new 5-day challenge where you are going to learn how to implement a digital strategy for whatever product you're wanting to launch. We're going to be looking at a marketing strategy for you. I'm not going to tell you too much because it's a little bit of a surprise and we're still putting the details together. But week beginning the 23rd, I have a massive surprise for you. It's going to be useful for me as well because I want to know, okay, so how do you, what is that funnel, the digital strategy? I don't even know what words I'm using because I don't understand it. So I reached out to my amazing community and I've asked an incredible person to support us to implement these strategies. Now that you're having fun doing a Facebook Live, you want to know what the strategy is to actually add more value to your community. So we watch this space, guys. If you're interested, say Dance with Fear. That's awesome. I'm just looking at some of your comments. If you're interested in implementation group, write the word implementation group in the comments so I can send you more details. Write implementation group and I'm going to send you more details. So the last question that you'll see over there, guys, is it says I need to lean forward a bit. Oh yeah, who is the real you and how you're going to be expressing that? Which brings us to what we're going to be talking about today. Full screen. Now, I have been getting some comments from the men who are watching this. They were saying to me, Connie, you always bring hot men on. But, you know, I like hot men, but I also like hot women. So I listened to you. Okay. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on a hot, sexy woman. Can we please say hello to today's guest, Frances? Hey, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. I love that intro. I think I'm just going to always use that intro like every time I speak or do something. I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I think you know people, so that's why I hang out with you, is because you're super sexy and you're super hot. And thank you for joining us, Frances, because you're going to be speaking to us about the different types of experiences, how we can create an experience for ourselves on camera, and what that looks like as a personal brand. So do you want to tell us a little bit about you? I know, guys, also, you know, hot people are only with us for a short period of time because, you know, they're super popular. So thank you for being with us. We know you have to leave just after past as well. So thank you for being here and tell us a little bit about your sexy self.
But of course, well, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you to all of you out there in Facebook land. You know, my hot self is blessed to be here, so I really appreciate that. So a little bit about my hot, sexy self. I'm an American. I've been in Paris for 10 years now, and I come from a full entertainment background, so theater and cinema and television and video game. I'm also a mother of three, so part of my authentic way of being is hearing those kids in the background. Although while you were speaking, I was frantically texting my husband, keep everybody quiet, please. I need silence. So I think that might work for the few minutes I'm on here. So yeah, so I've taken everything I've done. You know, I've been on stage as a performer, as a theatrical performer, as a burlesque performer. I've been behind the scenes as a producer, as a speechwriter, as a writer, a screenwriter, video game writer. So I see all the angles of what it takes to create something, a universe, create something fantastic. And especially a lot of it on stage or on a screen in front of you. And I've taken all of that, and about a year and a half ago, I co-founded an experience design studio with 3 other women. So we're a female-run experience design studio based here in Paris, and we design extraordinary experiences. We help create the extraordinary out of the ordinary. And really that's all about how can we engage all the senses in creating an event or a show or a product launch, for instance, or a seminar or retreat into something that really is ordinary. We always like to say, this ain't your mama's seminar, or this ain't your mama's event, because it's always like, how can we rethink everything that we know to be and find a new way to create it? And one of the things I've been doing is how to bring that into your personal experience, the experience of you in your life and on stage when you're speaking. One of the big things we used to talk about in burlesque is a burlesque attitude. You didn't have to be a wonderful dancer. I don't know if anyone's really seen Dita Von Teese perform. She doesn't really dance. You don't have to be beautiful or perfect, but it's all about how can you bring the attitude of who you are to the maximum. How can you have that burlesque attitude in that respect, which is really just having confidence and charisma to really bring forth the expression of who you are on stage, come what may. And that's really where the experience of you was born from, really. It's who are you? What is the experience of you that you want other people to experience, to have? There's a lot of things in a lot of personal development we talk about, that's not the experience of you I had, or that's not the experience of the situation I had. So it's, well, then what is the experience? What is the experience of me I want you to have? And so, and some people might think it's a persona or others, but it's really testing out all the best parts of who you are authentically and choosing them consciously.
This is so good. I'm making notes. I hope if you're watching the live, you're making notes. I'm like, just speak slower.
I know.
I'll watch the replay. You know what? I'm really interested in what you were saying, Francis, about how, especially now with COVID, right? Everything that we've known is now changing. Right. And we're now given an opportunity to reinvent, go deeper within, rather than reinvent, go deeper within, find who we authentically are, and then have some fun with expressing that. So, I mean, I don't know how to express it. So what are the different types of experiences that we can create? So because these guys are passionate and they're authentic and they want to have fun. So what are the different ways we can play? What are those experiences? Pen and paper, guys.
Yes, pen and paper. We're ready to go. Okay, so in general, one of the fascinating things is that as humans, we go through 5 different types of experience on a daily basis. And we can range from all 5 of them or just a few of them, or maybe sometimes it's just one. And what they are, and I'll also explain on how you can translate that into your public speaking. But first I'll explain what they are. So number 1 is ordinary. It's everyday actions. I'm taking the bus, I'm going to the baker's, bakery, I'm doing my laundry. Those are your ordinary actions. Then we've got mindful, and those are the actions that evoke your mind. Did that make me think of something? Did that actually cause me to really, we can call ordinary tasks somewhat mindless. I'm going to do my laundry, I'm walking to the bus. We often multitask during those tasks because our minds aren't engaged. So the next level is, how can we engage our minds? The third one is memorable. How can this now engage emotion? Once emotions are engaged and we start making relationships with those emotions, we start keeping elements of what we're witnessing or experiencing. So they become memorable. Then we've got meaningful. So how can we facilitate meaning or discovery? And we've often seen sometimes a speaker or a film or theatrical production or something that's been like, or documentaries. There's a bunch of these now on Netflix that are like, wow, that's fascinating. That I just discovered something that's going to hold with me now. Like now that's given me some meaning in my life. And then there's transformative, and that is facilitates change. And a speaker has the opportunity to live within any of those realms of speech, of style, of experiences. We've seen the ordinary speaker. Unfortunately, they don't really give us much. Are they too much in their head? Are they not engaging enough? Are they afraid of being themselves? And then we can go up the spectrum. Mindful, are you asking questions? Are you engaging us while we're sitting there? You know, the experience of public speaking doesn't have to be, and I would dare say, and I believe you do, it shouldn't be one-sided. We should encourage the audience to come on that experiential journey with us. We should have them with us. So is that asking questions? Is that engaging a memory? Sometimes that's telling a really fascinating story, a story that you have emotional connections with. So then we're going to remember that emotional relationship, and it most likely will stick with us. Have you put two and two together in a way that's really fascinating, and that has given us new meaning now? Oh, I never thought of it that way. Or was the full experience of you and your presentation so full of all these experiences, minus the ordinary, that had become transformative? It now has completely inspired me to change an aspect, a way of thinking, a way of being, an action. So in my line of work, we design experiences, you know, where where the audience, the public, the participant is at the heart of everything. But it's the exact same when we also take to the stage. I have another person in my company that also performed with me, and we would often ask ourselves, how can we go beyond the ordinary to bring the extraordinary? And in order to do so, we have these types of experiences in mind. So that is touching upon that.
How can we go beyond the ordinary to create the extraordinary? Wow, that's an amazing quote. Just put it in the chat there for everyone to make note of.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because a lot of times people feel overwhelmed. You know, they think, oh, I have to be everything all the time. I have to create all of these different experiences. How do you know what your experience is? One, how do you discover what you want the experience of you to be? And how do you go about being that on camera?
So we have, there's the 5 E's, and it's a structure that is often used in designing experiences. And so for the 5 E's, we've got first enticing. And I'm going to give you the overall, like we use these for event design or experience design or show design, but these are 100% applicable to you on stage, because or in front of a camera, because we're not even right now, we're doing online, because it's all very much there. So there's enticing. I'll say them and then I'll discuss what they mean. There's enticing, there's entering, there's engaging, there's exiting, and then there's extending. And I'll repeat them again as I describe them. So one is enticing. When it comes to, first I'll relate it to public speaking and then about the experience of you. So enticing, public speaking, how are you first going to attract the speaker's attention or the audience's attention? Are you going to say a quote? Is there a joke? Is there something that hooks them into, I'm enticing you, now I've captured your attention? because it's really, we're vying for attention, be it in person or online. Entering, then how do I segue into what I'm about to present or what I'm about to discuss? Any topic. This doesn't have to be a thesis, a perfectly formulated thesis. It just really is, what are you going to present? And now we're about to enter that experience. It's also a threshold. So one of the things we always look at when designing experiences is a threshold. There's a liminal space. There's a space between who you were and who you're about to be in the experience. And it's the same when it comes to speaking. For the person giving the presentation, it's who you are before you give the presentation, before you step on the stage or in front of that camera, and then who you are in front of everybody. You've passed a little bit of a threshold. So that's your entering. We also do it exiting, and I'll get there in a second. But then there's engaging. Now we're in the heart of it. Now you're being the most authentic you. Now you're giving us all your colors, all your sauces, as they say in France, à ta sauce, everything that is fully you with all the information you want to share. And then we're exiting. So now we're about to finish. So we're finding a way to wrap up. And again, that exiting, as I said, when you enter its liminal space or that threshold in, now we're threshold out. Because people are really going to remember how you began and how you ended. And hopefully they're going to remember some of the stuff in the middle, and otherwise they're going to take notes. So really, it's like, it's like how you stick that landing when it comes to, Olympic speak. How do you stick that landing? Because that's how you're going to be remembered. You could do the most perfect floor combination, and all of a sudden you totally fall and tumble, and your score goes down, and people are going to remember, oh man, that landing was not cute, but she did these somersaults that were amazing, and now we're probably going to forget about that a bit. So it's the same of that experience. And then extending. The extending is that call to action, which I know you're really great at, which is awesome. How do I extend the experience of what I just shared with you, or who I am to you? Is there an invitation to continue along the journey with me? Or is it just a simple email with thank you, and here's some more information, and here are my email links and my social media? And so anybody who designs with those 5 E's will have a really coherent experience, and an experience of themselves on screen or on stage. The experience of yourself also can really be, who are you when you are in front of people? What do you want to wear? What do you choose to be like? I use my hands. Actually, one of the things I did, I took a public speaking course a little while ago, and they recorded all of us, because the very first exercise was to record everybody and to see everybody's natural way of being on camera. No, you just spoke about a subject that was very dear to you, so you didn't have to memorize anything. And then it was played back in front of everybody, and then everybody took the time to write down what they saw was really beautiful about you, what they found your most positive traits when speaking. And then everybody read them. And I started to realize all the commonalities. And for a long time in theater, I've always been told, you speak too fast, you're too big, it's too much. And I realized actually that's something people really like. It's who I am. And so I've chosen that to be an experience of me. Mm-hmm. I take my time sometimes to be quiet and observe. That is also a chosen experience of me I want. But one of the most amazing things about who we are is that anytime we walk into a space or go on to a space, we have the choice to create who we want to be. And for me, it's always, why not be extraordinary? Why not give them something they will remember? Oh yeah, that girl, I often wear flowers. That girl with the flowers who spoke a lot, had big energy. Yeah, okay. And so that's really what it all comes down to. Make these choices. First, observe, learn, and appreciate them. Appreciate who you are. I will never be the super quiet, mousy person that speaks slowly. I've tried. But I've come to embrace and say, that's who I am. That's my burlesque attitude. That's what I bring to the table. So.
My gosh, Frances, that's so amazing. And I just want to repeat a few things that were really, really important. For me, what you were saying was important is giving ourselves permission to actually go there and look at what an experience of you could look like. Because for so long we've been pretending like, in front of the camera, you need to be this particular way, and you need to, I don't know, sit a particular way, wear these certain clothes. And yes, it's the balance between masculine and feminine, but we're giving ourselves permission to be like, okay, so who am I? Number one, I'm going to observe. I'm going to do lots of Facebook Lives. I'm going to observe. I'm going to learn. And then I'm going to appreciate where I'm the most in flow. And we were talking about this in some of our other lives, is what is your flow? And you'll know when you're in that flow, when your heart is singing on camera, on stage. And we need to give ourselves permission to experiment first.
Absolutely.
And I love that. And then you said, what are you choosing as an experience that you want of you? So amazing. So, okay, last question, because I know you need to leave in 7 minutes. This is so amazing. Can we have some love for Frances? in the chat, can I say, I love you, Frances? Are you loving this? Are you just loving it?
Thank you.
I'm seeing lots of loves. I'm seeing lots of loves.
I love it.
So the last question, and I'm doing this because I'm thirsty, not because I'm trying to make a point, guys. Everyone's been drinking water in their Facebook Lives. It's amazing. I love it. The last question is, okay, so how do I create now that personal brand? Because, what is your brand? How do I portray my brand? What is your brand, right? So how do I make that choice to choose to be my brand?
So that's a great question. And nothing is by happenstance. I mean, we can say it, and a lot of marketing teams will say, wow, that just came up like that. That's amazing. But there was a lot of work and thought. So one of the main things we use in experience design is design thinking principles. Go and take a moment to consciously design or create who you want to be, your brand, and or yourself as your brand. So one of the tools that my company uses, and we work with entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, and large companies, is an amazing tool called primal branding. And I'm about to speak of it. Won't do it justice because there's a lot of components. But if anybody wants to learn more, I'm happy to connect with them for sure. So primal branding, what was done by a gentleman named Patrick Hanlon, was that he distilled 7 main elements of what makes a brand so successful. After studying hundreds of companies, religions, and cults and countries. And they all have the same thing in common. They're only good as their community is supportive of them. They all have faithful communities. So us as brands, the word is thrown around a lot, and I understand that, but really there's beauty in the word brand, because we're also selling ourselves as speakers, entrepreneurs, performers, if that's what they're doing. So these elements I find really fascinating. So far, every time I've used them, they've created these mythologies or these universes around the brand that is really beautiful, because when it's tied in with storytelling, creates a comprehensive experience of that person or of their brand. So again, I'm going to go by them quickly with just a couple lines, and then if there's ever more work, just let me know. So the very first one is the creation story. So your creation story is what is the origin of you or your brand? And it really is, some of the most famous creation stories are 2 guys in a garage building home computers, like, all right, Apple, or even, PC. We've got, here's a great one that shows you that marketing does a lot of really cool tricks. If anybody thought of eBay, I always thought the eBay story was a husband wanted to sell his wife, help his wife sell pest dispensers. And so they created a marketplace for it. That was actually a beautiful little story designed by the marketing team, because really, who wants to hear about a 30-year-old whiz who created the perfect marketplace? So it's all about, who are you? What is your origin? And the idea is to distill it down to its most memorable visual essence. you know, solo mom, working late at nights, bringing joy to every person. You know, I don't know exact examples, but like think of solo mom working late nights, making baby clothes, one crochet booty at a time. You know, I can see that and I can put myself there like that. So the creation story helps you relate to a big company or a person. Next is your creed. Your creed is why? What do you believe in? Just do it. Think different because you're worth it. These are all, so what's really cool about your creed is that it speaks to your why, but it helps your community or the people you're speaking to relate to you, and hopefully they'll join you too. If people meet me and they know that my experience of life is experience everything, like life is worth experiencing to the maximum, then people who believe in that are going to follow me too, are going to want to relate with me because we have that in common. Then there's icons. So this is definitely more when it comes to starting to take your brand into more of experiential realm. Most common icon is your logo. What is your logo? What are your iconic colors? But you can think of icons in all five senses. Do I have a smell that when people meet me is my iconic smell? Coco Chanel. Coco Chanel had an iconic look. Her suits are iconic. Coco Chanel. So is Chanel #5, iconic. Marilyn Monroe was famous for saying she goes to bed naked wearing nothing but Chanel #5. So do you have a smell? Do you have a sound? Maybe every time you speak, there's a little jingle that comes up. You know, I mean, anything is possible. What's cool is that anything is possible. In this point, when you think of your icons, think of all the five senses and start little by little. Again, our logos are the most common ones. How can we go beyond that? Then there's your rituals. So rituals, when it comes to actual, like, you know, how people, what specific rituals to you? How do you do things in your world? How do your audience connect with you? Do you have a ritual every time you speak that maybe your ritual is always everybody group high five? I mean, it's something as simple as that, something that you appropriate and it becomes yours. So that when your community comes to see you speak or comes to your events or interacts with your brand, there's really unique ways of putting your meaning of your brand or your experience into motion. A really quick example is Starbucks. I'll go with Apple because that's the easiest. Apple's iconic element is the Genius Bar. It's very Apple. No one else has a Genius Bar. One of their iconic rituals is going to the Genius Bar. You're not going to do that at a PC store. That's uniquely Apple. So your pagans or your non-believers, and this is one of the most, I think, important things, especially when public speaking, we can't access everybody. If we speak to everybody, we speak to nobody. So who really do we want to connect with? And by knowing that, by knowing who we aren't really going to connect with, who's just really not going to be into what we're selling or what we're saying, what we're doing. We're not there for everybody. We can't be, or we distill our messaging. So who is not our audience? So then we're really clear as to who is our audience. Then we have sacred words. Like any good church in a religion, Amen or Inshallah or all the sacred words, or God bless you. You know, in certain, you know, when you sneeze in the US, it's all God bless you, or you know, there's always sacred words around different communities, cultures, experiences. So what are yours? I have a friend of mine who's really great with making up new words. You don't have to make up new words. You can just reappropriate words and have them be really part of your community. But my friend is always like, I want to enter into a creationship. I'm putting the fun in funerals because they're not funerals. And he's a fascinating guy, and he really does redesign funerals, actually. But these are just, what are the words unique to you? Do you have a way to close out your speech or open your speech or address your audience? You know, that become yours. And then lastly, who is the leader? Who is the visionary? And in many cases, this is going to be you. Who are you? So you have your creation story, but then you, who are you? And you can, and what is your vision? What is your why? And why is your message so important? And this is how to create an overall brand, so that when you start doing all the other things, you can figure out where everything fits into. One of the things we work with companies is how to distill these messages across all their touch points. For you, really, you can just go little by little and take some of these as me, the experience of me. What do I want people to know about me? Again, do I have a certain way of addressing people? Do I have a certain smell or a certain look? Like, am I always in, the black turtlenecks for Steve Jobs? Who am I not speaking to? I don't, these are people that, I mean, and it's not like I don't like them, but they're just not going to really buy into what I'm saying. That's fine. Cool. Who am I speaking to then? Because you're really certain. And who are you as a leader? Be proud of who you are. You're the visionary. You're the one getting in front of everybody. So be proud of that. Take that stance. Have that burlesque attitude, and be great with creating the experience of you as the leader of yourself and your brand.
Yeah! Can we have some round of applause? Yes! I always do this I saw this at a comedy show once, a live comedy show.
Yeah.
So, Frances, I want to say thank you so much. We maybe have time for like 1 or 2 questions, so make sure type in your questions very, very quickly, and Frances might be able to answer them whilst you're typing in your questions. Frances, if I would like you to help me create an experience of me, how do I reach out to you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can email me at Eat the Cake Studio. So Eat the Cake is the name of my company. eatthecakestudio@gmail.com. Or I'm at LinkedIn under
Eat the Cake Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll put your LinkedIn in a moment as well. Any questions? Any questions? There's like a little bit of a delay, and I know you need to leave in exactly a minute. So let's see if we have any questions. If you don't have any questions, let's have some love. Just have some, yeah, just have some "You're amazing, Frances" in the chat.
Thank you very much.
Frances, thank you so much for jumping in. Oh my God, like my mind is like blown, as it is anytime I have a conversation with you. You're incredible. You are an experience that I want to spend time with, because you make me feel good.
Thank you.
I heard this quote, and I think I shared it with the guys in the Facebook group maybe earlier on this week, but I was saying that somebody said to me, Connie, I love you because I love who I am when I'm with you.
Yeah.
So the same goes to you. I love you because I love who I am when I'm with you.
Thank you, Connie. That means a lot. Amazing. I appreciate that. And it's always likewise. We can just give love to each other while it's always
just give love. Just give love. So if you want, do you want to hear more from Frances? Can I put in more from Frances in the comments for me, please? Do you want more love from Frances? I want to see those exact words. More love from Frances.
I got love for days.
Frances, keep our fingers crossed, but Frances is going to be back. Rob is going to be back. Our surprise tomorrow is going to be back. I've got some great news for you guys. We've got a 3-month program that I'm starting about camera leadership. So all these amazing people are definitely going to be back. It's not the last of them. So can we send some big love and big hugs to you, Frances?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love you.
Thank you, guys. And good luck with everything.
Kisses. Love you, darling. Okay, thank you so much to the amazing Frances. Wasn't she amazing? I've made so many notes. I've got like 2 pages worth of notes. There's no ways that there's enough space in the booklet that I created for these guest speakers. They're just incredible. They're amazing experiences within themselves. Okay, guys, so let's begin completing. And what are we going to complete with? Right. In the chat, what I'd love for you guys to do for me is I'd like you to take a moment to integrate all of that content. Now, what did Frances talk about? Let's share the screen. Share screen. There we go. Or actually, what I might No, I'm going to share this first. So what did she speak about? She spoke about the different types of experiences. Okay, remember she said, see, I'm going to do a summary for you, shall I? She said that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of experiences: the ordinary, the mindful, the emotions, the meaningful, and the transformative. So whilst I'm doing this summary for you guys, I'd love for you to share what was important for you from the live today. Okay, what was valuable for you? What is important for you? Because you know what's coming. You're going to do a Facebook Live being the experience of you. Okay, so your Facebook Live, what you want to be doing is you want to be choosing an experience. Do you want it to be ordinary? Is it going to be mindful? Is it going to be emotional? Is it going to be meaningful? Is it going to be transformational? Okay, so you're going to choose one of those if you like. There's no right, there's no wrong. We're just going to have some fun. Okay. Then she spoke about the ways of designing the experience. And I like this because remember, Rob was saying you've got 3 points, right? So I've got a way of integrating the two. You start with the enticing. So it's almost the way that you structure your talk. So the first thing you do is you start with an enticing. I started with a joke. We're going to go to the kitchen, right? Or I was talking about Francis being hot and the men being hot, or whatever you want to do. You're enticing. Then you're entering. I need to figure out what this entering is for me. Then the engaging, which is the content. Then the exiting. What we're doing today, that's the way you enter. You enter by saying, today we're looking at different types of experiences, creating an experience, creating a personal brand, and then we're exiting by, and also the way I enter is saying, okay, so I ask you a question to begin thinking about. So a lot of people enter by asking that question, and you exit by asking, okay, so what was important for you? Who are you authentically? And how are you going to be expressing that as a brand? And then she finished by talking about the 7 elements of your personal brand: your creed, the creation story, your icon, your rituals, the pagans, people who are not going to be into you, the sacred words, and you as a leader. Whew. So it was a lot today. But your invitation, are you willing to play full out? Can I have a yes? Okay, can I have a yes? You're willing to play full out, because in the Facebook Live, I'd like you to introduce yourself as the experience and what your new brand is. Okay, so there's a lot. So I need to be very clear. I need to be very specific what it is that I want you to do. Maybe what you're doing is you're answering the question, what are you choosing as the experience of who you want to be on camera? Must I say that again? What are you choosing as an experience that you want to be on camera? And I liked what she said about playing around. And what could be a really good idea is for me to ask you, for you to ask your tribes, like, what do I do often? Like, help me out, guys. Like, what do I do? Like, what are my rituals? What do you, if you think Connie, what do you think? Oh, that's a dangerous question. Ask your community that. Like, if you think of Karina, what do you think? If you think of Helena, what do you think? If you think of Michelle, if you think of, I have to look at some of the names. If you think of these people, what do you think? If you think of Connie, what do you think? I like it, Laura. You were talking about Connie World. If you think of Connie World, what do you think? And 1 or 2 of you have spoken to your accountability partners. So if you want to, you can continue to do that. Okay. I've had fun today. It's very interesting. We went from Rob, masculine energy, the structure and how to do it, to the feminine energy. You've got the skeleton, and then you've got the expression, the form. And tomorrow is going to be so amazing. We're going to tie it all together under the umbrella of the full expression of you, so you can be confident on camera. Did you have a good day today, guys? Can I have some love? Let's see if you guys have any other questions for me before we complete. Laugh and ask for connection. Oh, you think of the Connie laugh. Okay. Now have to be natural now. All right, guys. I love you. I see you. Thank you so much for an amazing experience. If you're part of the implementation group, we're going to go into the Zoom room now. Okay, so we can have a chat, connect a little bit more. And if you want to be a part of the implementation group, just put implementation group in the comments and I'll send you the link so you can join us. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Big kisses. Bye, guys.